Hello YouTube. Today ignore those pricing. This is for regular power connector replacements. This is the usbc repair.com, and this is a Lenovo Thinkpad T15 Generation 2 Intel 15-inch motherboard that came in for the power USB-C power connector repair. Again, at usbcrepair.com, we were the first company in the United States to do USB Type-C replacements. And I personally done about a couple hundred of those connectors. So I'm pretty the process got streamlined a lot. So when I get something like that, what I need to do first, I need to test it to make sure that's the problem, because there are so many other issues that could be wrong with the motherboard when it comes to USB Type-C that it's not even funny. And before sending anything away, again, usbcrepair.com to check all the issues that might be happening. All right. So what I do first, I connect a USB Type-C tester. All right. The connector seems to be nice and solid, so plug it in. And we got nothing. Let's see if I wiggle it up, down. Nothing. And that way we get the light right there, and we get handshake 20 volts. I wiggle it up, down, and connection is pretty solid. This is pretty solid connection. Strange. So it's only doesn't work on one side. Oh, here, hold on. It was able to get something. Right, so it works. Oh yeah, right now it works, you see. We do get a handshake on both sides, it's not a stable connection. So so I know that the handshake happening, we get the boost from 5 volts to 20 volts, meaning it should be good to go for the connector replacement, and hopefully it's gonna work fine after the connector replacement. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this heatsink because it's really in the way. All right. We have to just unscrew everything here. Once I find all these screwdrivers. Again, this is a YouTube studio here. Sometimes instruments gets borrowed to be used elsewhere. All right. So the screwdriver here, it seems like somebody was trying to unscrew those screws and it didn't work because the regular screwdriver doesn't go there quite well. All right, let's see. Let's get a set of screwdrivers. Not the best one, but it should be all right. Let's see if we can get something else. Nope. This looks good. I'm gonna find a screwdriver that's. Nope. Yeah, I see now why I received it in this condition. No, this one is good. Yeah, this one goes out just fine. Maybe somebody over tightened them. That's the problem. Let's see, maybe we're gonna connect this one. Okay, right there. No, seriously. All right, I guess I better not unscrew anything here and just leave it the way it is. I guess they already been unscrewed and they've been over tightened, and now nothing even grabs onto the. There's a way to remove those. I just don't wanna Don't want to do it right now, so here. The thread's gonna be stripped. We're gonna continue working on this thing. Anyways, let's do it without removing that. Okay, so here. The regular connectors are usually insulated with the 3M tape. This is flute tape. Goes up to like 600 degrees Fahrenheit protection. But for this particular model, I would rather just do something like that. Because the tiny little filters, they can get stuck to the bottom of the tape and they can come off the motherboard. Beautiful, almost beautiful. I don't want this connector to melt. I'm just gonna wrap it one more time. All right, we're ready to go. Let's just put some tape so it wouldn't fly off. All right, so the goal here is to add some leaded base solder to the connections here, and it's gonna pop right out, and some leaded base solder to the top as well, right here. Alrighty. So here we have a connector, which we're gonna add some flux to. And we're gonna add some leaded base solder. And the reason I wanted to take off the heatsink so that it wouldn't be in a way. Here like that. And like that. Good job. Alright, so let's power up the hot air. Let's give it as much flux as we can. The more flux, the easier it comes out. Okay. And it came out. Good job. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just remove all the flux from the, not the flux, the solder from the connection. All right, as you can see, this one came out just fine. Okay, now let's do this side. All right, good job. Excellent. All right, just making sure that all of the holes nice and empty. All right. So back in the days, like years ago, we couldn't solder this in a row for the life of me. But now I got the most expensive hot air station. I done about a couple hundred of those, maybe 1,000 of those already. So I developed a way how to solder the inner row perfectly fine without damaging the jack. So usually, assuming the temperatures are just right, the distance to the connector is just right, I'm usually able to just solder it. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. All right, so what I did was I added some fresh solder. Some don't remove the solder. I saw it online. But I mean, for me, it's just easier to remove the solder. And I need to go find exactly the same connector. Hopefully I have it. Looks similar to what I got. So let me go find the connector. All right, so it seems like I found something similar. No, I don't think it's gonna fit. Looks... I don't know. The forward leg slightly forward too much, you see? They don't align. Maybe in the only way it aligns is if it's like that. Oh, and you see the rear row of legs is shifted. This one is shifted to the left, this one is shifted to the right. So this one not gonna work for me. All right, let me spend another half an hour looking for something like that. All right, let's see. Found the connector, which looks similar. Yeah, all right, something. Yeah, looks exactly like the one I need. The only thing is, all right, let's see. Yeah, or no? Hold on, let's see. Those guys here are pretty much on the same level. Those guys kind of set aside. Let me put it on and see if it's gonna go in or not. Okay. Yeah, there is pretty much wide margin here to work with. So we can just do it like that, maybe. Right? Yeah. Or maybe it doesn't want to go in. That's the reason why it's... I should have found the connector first and then I should have added the solder. Because now I don't know if it's the solder that doesn't want to penetrate, or maybe the plastic pieces that don't want to go in. Plastic here and plastic there, probably too wide, maybe. Or maybe the metal pieces for those. Oh, you know what? I can flip the motherboard and see if the metal pieces align. I don't see the metal going through. That's a disappointment. I was hoping This would be much easier. Well, let me try and put it on and see if that's a huge disappointment, because I mean I got like hundreds of those connectors and this one matches everything the best. I'm just not sure if those black plastic pieces are at the right place. Maybe they should be a little bit to the left and to the right. Let's see, let's compare the rear. Yeah, you see it's the different. Yeah, no way it's gonna fit. All right, so what I need to do, I need to remove the black connectors here. Black pieces here. Let's see. All right. Do I want to shave it a little bit? Maybe I should shave it a bit. That's why those connectors are more expensive to work on, because you see I have to do some custom work here to the connectors and it takes a lot of time. And that's the reason why nobody else in the United States does those kind of repairs. Well, because Amazon warehouse usually pays much better. Two. Oh, as well. All right, here. Nice. Nicely shaped. Yeah, looks like nicely shaped. Okay. Looks good. All right. All right, so we add as much flux as possible. And now we're gonna put a connector on top of it. All right, and let's hope it's gonna solder in place. Ooh. Ay, 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 ay. It doesn't seem like. Now, for some reason, it doesn't seem like it's nothing got soldered for some reason. Let's try one more time. I don't know. No, I mean, here everything's soldered. I don't see any leg that would be moving. Oh, this is fine. Okay. Let's solder the whole thing. All right. All right, looks good. Looks good. All right, so do I want to test it? I probably want to test it to see if it's gonna be conducting everything. All right, a couple of things. I see that there's not enough solder on the sides, right where it's supposed to be enough solder. Right here. All right. And right there. Me, everything seems to be soldered fine. But what I want to do, just to reinforce whatever is there, let's see if we can just add a little bit of solder here. A little bit of solder here. You see, even the tip worn out. It's $100 tip on a $1,000 tiny microscopic iron. And I so much don't want to spend $100. on the tip of the soldering iron. Okay. Right, so let me clean it up. Beautiful, huh? You see, none of the filters came off the motherboard. Those black tiny little pieces. Once they come off the motherboard, you usually kind of like, it's almost impossible to solder them up. Even if you have $1,000 microscope. Well, it used to be a couple of thousand, now it's $1,000. Prices came down. But yeah, okay, so let's clean all of that. Let's dry it out and test and see if we made any money today. Imtech wipes. All right. Those are lint-free wipes, specifically made for delicate task wipes. It's called Kimtech wipes, science brand. $30 for a little box of those wipes, but at least they don't leave any residue. Wanna check on the microscope. A beautiful here. Let's try this side. All right, and I'll just let it dry under the exhaust and come back to it in about 10-15 minutes. The newest tool I got is this air blower. Really replaceable part. It just dries out everything pretty fast. All right, and again, give it 10 minutes or so. I want to make sure it's all nice and dry before I'm gonna experiment anything on it again. That's the dongle I was testing it with, so let's try this dongle and see. And it doesn't fit. No, it does fit. All right. So let's take a look. All right. Wiggle it about. Looks good. Yeah, 20 volts, 6.07. All right, looks good. Looks good. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a good day. So the connector is replaced. I don't replace those connectors right here, simply because there is no way to solder underneath it. Really, there is just no way to solder it. Thank you. Bye.